What happens when two major country stars clash on live television? When a friendly chat suddenly spirals into one of the most uncomfortable moments ever aired? That's exactly what happened between Keith Urban and Kelly Clarkson, and the tension was so thick you could feel it through the screen. Keith was on the Kelly Clarkson show to promote his new album. The mood was light, full of laughs, until Kelly brought up a question that instantly shifted the tone. "Keith," she said, smiling, "there's been a lot of debate lately about staying true to country roots. What do you think about artists people say have gone too far into pop?" Keith's expression changed. The smile vanished, replaced with a tight look. "That's a big question, Kelly," he said slowly. "What exactly are you asking me?" Kelly kept her friendly tone. "I just meant, how do you handle critics who say you've leaned too far away from country? There was an article recently about your collaborations and how your sound has evolved." The studio went silent. Keith leaned back, his jaw tightening. "So that's where we're going?" he said. "You're asking me to defend my music?" Kelly looked uneasy, but tried to smooth things over. "No, not at all. You're one of the biggest names in country. I just thought you'd have an interesting view on how the genre's changing." Keith gave a short laugh that wasn't friendly. "You could have asked me that off camera, don't you think? This feels like a setup." Kelly frowned slightly. "Keith, that's not what I meant. I ask everyone about how music evolves. You're part of that story." "Evolves?" Keith said. "That's a polite word for changes too much. You know how this sounds, right? It sounds like you're asking me to prove I'm still country." "That's not it," Kelly replied quickly. "I respect you. I love your sound." "Then why bring that up?" Keith asked. "You could have talked about my new record or my tour, but you chose to quote critics." "Because people are talking about it," Kelly said. "I thought you'd want to address it your way." Keith leaned forward. "You think I need to defend myself?" "I think you're reading too much into it," Kelly said calmly. "I'm giving you a platform." "A platform?" Keith echoed, shaking his head. "Feels more like a trap." The air grew heavy. The audience shifted uncomfortably. Kelly tried again. "Keith, I wasn't trying to upset you. It was just an honest question." "Honest?" he said sharply. "You don't think I've heard this before? Every time I try something new, someone calls me a sellout." "I didn't say that," Kelly replied, keeping her voice even. "You implied it," Keith said. Kelly sighed. "Keith, that's not fair. This is a talk show. I ask open questions. You've always handled tough ones well." "Not ones that question who I am," he said. "That's crossing a line." "I didn't question who you are," Kelly said. "You're twisting this." Keith looked at her, his frustration clear. "Twisting it? You just asked if I've gone pop. How is that not questioning what I stand for?" Kelly's voice stayed calm, but her patience was slipping. "Keith, I wasn't attacking you. It was a discussion about music trends, not your identity." "Then you should have made that clearer," Keith said, "because right now this looks like an ambush." "That's not how I do interviews," Kelly said. "You know that." "I thought I did," he replied coldly. "Maybe I was wrong." The audience gasped. Kelly straightened. "Keith, I think we both need to take a breath. You're getting defensive for no reason." "No reason?" he said, raising an eyebrow. "You hit me with a loaded question on live TV and I'm supposed to smile through it?" "That's not what I said," Kelly responded. "I said relax. This isn't personal." "It feels personal," Keith said, "especially coming from you." "Then maybe you need to ask yourself why it feels that way," Kelly said. "Because I think you're reacting to something deeper." Keith stared at her. "You're really going there?" "I'm just saying," Kelly said softly. "Maybe you're tired of people questioning your direction." And I hit a nerve. "Wow," Keith said, laughing bitterly. "Now I'm being psychoanalyzed." "Great." "Keith," Kelly said, "you're making this bigger than it is." "No, you made it bigger the second you brought it up," he said, his voice rising slightly. "You wanted a headline and now you've got one." "That's not fair," Kelly shot back. "I've built this show on respect. I don't do gotcha moments." "Then what was this?" he asked. "Because it sure didn't feel respectful." Kelly's tone hardened. "You're acting like I attacked you." "I didn't." "You're twisting my words." "You just don't like that I called it out," Keith said. You wanted a viral clip and you're getting one. That's ridiculous, Kelly said, shaking her head. You're creating drama out of nothing. Keith stood up. The audience gasped again. Drama? No, Kelly, I'm just done being disrespected. Keith, sit down, Kelly said quietly. We can talk this through. There's nothing to talk about, he said. You made your point. You're walking out? Kelly asked. Yeah, Keith said. Because I'm not going to let this turn into a circus. Kelly stood too. For the record, this wasn't an attack. It was an interview. Then maybe next time stick to questions about music, Keith said. Not rumors. That's part of music, Kelly replied. If you can't handle that, maybe you're the one making it personal. Keith gave her a long look. You just don't quit, do you? No, Kelly said. Not when someone misreads me. Keith took a step back, exhaling deeply. Then I guess we're done here. If that's what you want, Kelly said, crossing her arms. It's what I need, Keith said firmly. To walk out with some respect left. He turned to leave. Kelly's voice followed him. Keith, this could have been a great talk. He stopped, looking back once. It could have been, he said quietly. If you'd asked like a friend, not a journalist. Then he walked off, the audience sitting frozen. Kelly took a breath, forcing a smile. Well, she said softly, that was unexpected. We'll be right back after the break. The cameras cut, but the silence stayed. It wasn't just awkward, it was raw, real, and unforgettable. Both stars had crossed a line, and the fallout would leave fans wondering if this friendship could ever recover.